Beep boop bop, it's Becca, and welcome back to Baking with Becca. So today, you're gonna learn how to make these gorgeous bagels. These are New York style bagels. When you rip them open, they'll be delicious and soft on the inside, and a perfect thing to make when you're stuck inside. So if you wanna see how to make it, keep watching. Also, make sure to subscribe. So here are all of our ingredients for our bagels. It's really simple, only 5 ingredients. We'll start over here. We have 1 1/4 cups of warm water, 4 1/2 teaspoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of active dry yeast, 3 1/2 cups of flour, and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. So our first step in making our dough is combining our warm water. Make sure it's warm, kind of like hot tub temperature. I love hot tubs. So does yeast. So you're gonna add in your sugar first. You don't need to mix it up. And then add in your yeast. So now your yeast needs to activate, so you're gonna let it sit for like 5 minutes and it's gonna get nice and foamy and like puff up. Okay, the yeast is definitely activated. It's gotten so fluffy, just like watching the little piece of it move around, it's coming to life. I think it's so freaking cool. I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit. And then I'm gonna add the salt to the flour. Mix that up. Okay. So I'm using all-purpose flour. You can also use bread flour. I don't think that it really matters. I'm gonna add this solution into our flour. And now mix this up. Started to come together a little bit, you really want to use your hands to bring it all together, and then we're also going to knead it on the counter. And it already smells so bready, and delicious. Love the smell. As soon as the yeast started to activate, it smelled so good. So the dough is starting to come together, and I want to knead it on the counter a little bit. So I'm going to add some more flour so it doesn't stick. Make sure you get all of the remnants from the bowl. Now we're gonna knead it for a long time. So after a couple minutes, you'll notice that the dough really comes together better and it gets wetter, like it feels stickier, which is good. That's what you want. It's gonna feel very elasticy and very tough. And if the dough gets too wet or too sticky, then you can just add a little bit more flour to it. And one more tip when you're kneading dough, you really wanna use the palm of your hand here to press into it and push it. So like you're kneading into the dough. Okay, so our dough is now ready. I kneaded it for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes should be good. And put a little bit of oil into the bowl. I'm gonna spread it around on the sides. And this will make it so when the dough is rising, it's not gonna stick to the bowl. Put a little bit of the extra oil on top. Put your dough into the bowl. Make sure it's a little bit coated in the oil. And then you're gonna cover it. This towel is too small. Okay, I'm gonna get a better towel, but you're gonna cover it and let it sit in a warm spot for about an hour, and it's gonna double in size. So after an hour, you're gonna poke down the dough a little bit to get out a lot of the air. Let it sit for another 10 minutes, and then you're ready for the next step. Okay, so the dough has finished rising. It is nice and fluffy, and as you can see, I smushed it down. This is just oil. And now we need to cut it into the number of bagels that we want. So let's get this out of here. Just flatten it out a little bit. And now we're going to cut it into 6 bagels. So it's easier if you just do it down the middle. And we'll just be cutting it into triangles. Try to make them as even as you can. It doesn't super matter if some are a little bigger than others. And then in thirds. Okay, and then we want to start forming them into our bagel shapes. Okay, so for our first bagel, the way that I think it's easiest is to make it more into a ball. So I'm just going to tuck the sides in because we want it to be pretty smooth around the top. It's okay if the bottom is a little bit less smooth. So kind of make it into a roll looking shape. In the bottom, underneath, like try and tuck this in a little bit. Really, whatever technique you think will work best for you. You see how it looks nice on the top. And then you're going to find the middle and put your finger into it. And you're making a hole. And then I think to help make the hole bigger, take it between your fingers and go like this. And then there you go. And you're going to place that onto your tray. And then do that with all of your bagels. So our bagels are all ready, and now they need to rise for another 10 minutes. So just cover them again. You don't need to move it to a warm spot, just let it sit on the counter. And now our next step is you need to fill a pot with water, not all the way. You want to fill it like halfway with water, and then you're going to put it on the stove and wait till it gets to a boil. So it'll be boiled right about at the time that the dough is ready to go in the pot. So now that the water is boiled, we are ready to boil our bagels. Bagels are going to go into the water for about 2 minutes. The longer you keep them in, the more of like that tougher texture you get on the outside of the bagel. So these will be New York style bagels, and they'll be more like that the longer you keep them in. So we'll do about 2 minutes or a little bit less of putting them into the water. So I'll put in 3 at a time. And just use some sort of like strainer, spoon. You can flip them over after a little bit. So it's now been almost 2 minutes. You can take them out, just put them back onto the tray. Try and drain the water out. You can see that they've already expanded more, and they're gonna get this nice texture on the outside, so you can put your other bagels in. Perfect, and now these are ready to go into the oven at 400 degrees, and they'll cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. The tops will be nice and golden brown, and the bottoms will look like how a normal bagel looks. So the bagels are out of the oven. They ended up cooking for about 18 minutes. And something that I've noticed when they first come out, the outside is very tough. So what I like to do is take a towel, the same one we used before, and just cover it for a few minutes so it softens a little bit, but it still will have like that nice texture when you rip it open. But they came out looking really good. And if you freeze these, they'll last a while. This is a perfect thing to make during this self-isolation time if you don't have access to going out and getting the normal bagels that you make. And trust me, these will definitely be a good replacement. They are amazing. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also make sure to subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.